Every year, over £21 billion is stolen from the UK's public purse. Money that's meant to treat our sick, educate our children and keep us safe. Alongside crack teams of investigators.
This guy's got to be stopped as soon as possible.
She had defrauded the NHS.
We're tracking down the fraudsters, stealing our public money.
This man had effectively treated the NHS like a cash machine.
Locking them up.
They were going to be spending a lot of their time inside a prison cell.
And getting the cash back where it belongs.
We recovered close to £1 million.
She was ordered to pay just under £1.4 million.
I'm after his house, his car and some money.
Just over £23,000 back into the public purse.
Fraud Squad, the hunt is on. Today, a reckless hoaxer fakes accidents for fun, putting pressure on the public purse, all for the thrill of the ride.
I was actually thinking, this just hasn't happened here. This guy's got to be stopped.
Living the high life, a couple who run 2 successful businesses avoid paying hundreds of thousands of pounds in tax and claim benefits, saying they're too sick to work.
They're just following a kind of blagger culture of never really wanting to pay fully for anything.
And a random roadside stop and search unearths the UK's biggest ever blue badge fraud.
Over £5 million worth of vehicles were purchased from across the country, avoiding the value-added tax, the VAT. It was a real web of deceit.
If the NHS isn't battle-worn enough, every year it's bombarded with thousands of hoax emergency calls. And it's the same for the police, the fire brigade and even mountain rescue. These bogus calls drain millions of pounds from the public purse and can cost lives. This is the tale of the UK's most reckless and extreme serial hoax caller. He staged a string of fake accidents on the side of treacherous mountains right across the UK. From Snowdon to Ben Nevis, calling out the emergency services to help him again and again.
This later starting to fire down onto the MRT team and the victim. This person was actually with the mountain rescue team in grave danger.
Risking lives and at the same time wasting public money.
The amount of money he was wasting was becoming phenomenal.
Sparking a nationwide manhunt.
I'm thinking, this guy's got to be stopped. This has to be stopped as soon as possible.
All because he fancied a ride in one of these. Bangor, North Wales. An officer, PC Gethin-Jones, is halfway through an unusually demanding shift.
On that particular day, we were very busy. We were quite stretched for resources at that time.
But amongst the many calls, one immediately catches attention.
I'll head over straight away.
A seriously injured man has been discovered lying at the foot of Mount Snowdon. He's believed to have fallen 130 feet.
We would categorise a fall of that type as a category 0, which is a serious priority.
PC Jones is under no illusion just how seriously this man could be hurt.
This is Vivian Quarry. He was actually claiming that he'd actually fallen from one incline to another. You'd have been very seriously injured, a few breakages, possibly fatal even.
En route to the injured man is a 20-strong team of mountain rescue volunteers who've dropped everything to come and help. Mountaineer Miles is one of the first to approach the scene, a hard-to-access patch of steep, unstable ground.
So when we got there, he was in a position that, was consistent with what we'd heard. He took a tumbling fall on the path, saying all the right things, almost a bit too much. He was almost preempting clinical questions, stuff that you'd need sort of relatively decent level first aid training to know about, really. So that sort of started to become like pretty suspicious to the guys. What he was saying didn't tally up with where he was, where he'd come from and how he got there. They sort of had a bit of a sixth sense about something wasn't quite right.
Putting their doubt to one side, the team continued to treat the incident as genuine.
So although we might have had our suspicions about sort of the seriousness of his injuries, we're always going to treat to that worst case scenario, which is quite a sort of labour-intensive task, is, you know, like manually immobilising the guy, tying stretchers off, securing people, making sure there's no loose rocks being kicked down on him.
With everyone secured, the team turned their attention to pain management.
The victim was complaining of pain to his neck and spinal area, so they administered anaesthetics which would help him to ease his pain.
But curiously, it has little effect. The man remains in an agitated state, continuing to demand drugs. This is highly unusual behaviour for a casualty claiming to have such serious injuries.
He probably could be up for an Oscar, really. He was highly convincing. So you actually break the story down and then it starts to come apart a little bit. We're never not going to treat that. You know, we're always going to treat things seriously. But yeah, alarm bells were ringing.
Despite their concerns, Miles and the team push ahead with the rescue. Hemmed in by both a lake and vertical cliffs, the only way to extract the casualty is to airlift them with the help of Her Majesty's Coast Guard.
The rescue helicopter was used. Each time we deploy a helicopter of this type, you are talking in region of £32,000 cost to the public purse.
Expensive kit, designed for one purpose only, to rescue those in desperate need. But as the helicopter hovers over the treacherous incline, things quickly take a turn for the worse.
The downwind force from the rotors of the helicopter actually started moving the loose slate. This was becoming a massive danger.
With a helicopter downwash, it's a dangerous environment. You know, a branch came off a tree, people get hit with stretchers, rocks. So we had to get him out from under the canopy and then carry him into open area.
After a nail-biting few minutes, they've secured the victim to the winch. This apparently seriously ill man is flown to Gwynedd Hospital. And PC Jones arrives just minutes later.
So I walked into the resus room. The patient's in there, seriously in pain, and he was basically sort of wriggling about and being quite uncooperative with the nurses who wanted to take his clothing off.
But the man's agitation increases when he catches sight of PC Jones. Bizarrely, he demands the police officer is removed from the room.
I was becoming quite worried. Why is he asking me to leave? Because I'm not being disrespectful. I just kept asking questions calmly, empathising with his situation, and he just started asking nurses in a verbally aggressive manner for me to leave. And I decided, no, I'm going to stay here. It's my duty to ascertain exactly what the circumstances were of him being there.
PC Jones is now just as sceptical about this man as the mountain rescue team, who tell him something shocking. They mention that on the helicopter, the supposedly injured man asked to take a selfie and inquired whether one of the rescue team fancied a pint. PC Jones radios through to the control room and asks for a background check on the patient. He's a pizza delivery rider in his 20s. And there's more.
He also informed me that they were aware that there was a person with the same details, same name, actually making hoax calls in the Cumbria area.
And the details are remarkably similar. PC Jones digs deeper.
A male with him had reported that he'd fallen off a mountain in that particular area, causing all sorts of emergency service to attend. and actually didn't have any injuries in the end.
Is it possible that this is the same man replicating the same hoax?
Were we experiencing the same thing as Cumbria? What exactly was going on here?
Then the control room send across a photo of the suspect.
What I thought when I saw this picture was, I can believe it, this was the same guy that had wasted a lot of resources earlier in the Cumbria area and was now possibly doing exactly the same. If our suspicions in terms of this call being false were true, then obviously there was a lot of public money at stake here in terms of being wasted. I'm thinking, this guy's got to be stopped. This has to be stopped as soon as possible.
Later, the true scale of what this man has been up to is laid bare.
I was actually thinking, hang on, this just hasn't happened here, not just Cumbria, but it looks like it's happened in possibly 10 other locations, all the way up to Ben Nevis.
About 2.4 million disabled people in England have blue badges. These permits issued by the council allow them to park more freely in restricted areas. It's life-changing for those with limited ability, but it's a benefit that's being abused. Blue badge fraud is increasing by around 45% every year. A seemingly run-of-the-mill stop check leads to a 5-year investigation that exposes one of the UK's biggest blue badge scams.
Over a period of about 18 months, we put into evidence that over £5 million worth of vehicles were purchased from across the country, avoiding the value-added tax, the VAT.
Tax dodger James Shirley exploited disabled blue badge holders in a fraud that saw the HMRC nearly £1 million out of pocket.
3 individuals who were clearly set about buying cars for James Shirley with the sole intention of lining their pockets and lining the pockets of James Shirley.
Hot on his heels is Detective Superintendent John Webster, who has 23 years crime-fighting experience.
It was a real web of deceit.
Liverpool, Merseyside. A van is pulled over for a routine stop check.
Some of my officers were on patrol on this road and they were travelling in this direction and they noticed the van driving in the opposite direction at speed. As a result of that, they decided to turn around and follow the van with the intention of stopping it. As they pulled up behind it, you could see that the driver of the vehicle threw something out of the driver's side. We later recovered that and we found out that that was a piece of cannabis.
The driver of the van is James Shirley.
Well, he wasn't exactly pleased to see the officers because those officers then decided to search the van.
What the officers are about to find ignites an investigation that eventually leads to the downfall of James Shirley and his cronies.
And behind the driver's seat, stashed behind the driver's seat, was a bundle of cash, and it appeared to be thousands of pounds in cash. And those officers immediately seized that money, and also the money that was also in James's pocket, which was just shy of £1,000. Well, having that amount of cash on you, £5,000 stashed behind the seat and £1,000 in cash in your pocket, I would suggest is not normal sort of behaviour.
But Shirley has an explanation.
He's entitled to say what he chooses. James decided to tell us during interview that that money was there to pay the taxman. And I do question that anyone pays the taxman in cash.
Shirley is released without charge, and when he fails to claim the cash back, alarm bells start ringing. Is Shirley making a living peddling pot? Where is all this cash coming from? An investigation into James Shirley's finances begins.
Well, as investigators, we have close relationships with the taxman. And we went to the Inland Revenue and we inquired what tax James had, first of all, declared in terms of what his income was.
On first impressions, it appears Shirley has a legitimate business.
It was a family fast food business which paid him a relatively modest income and went into a bank account which he appeared not to touch. Didn't pay any bills from it, no utilities, no shopping, nothing at all.
This raises eyebrows with the investigators, as there was plenty of evidence of Shirley living the high life, splashing the cash on cars and trips abroad.
We discovered evidence of really nice holidays to the likes of Las Vegas and other places. And of course, his children, they went to private school, none of which appeared to be evidenced through his bank accounts.
The team keep on searching and discover Shirley has lied about his income on a mortgage application, bagging himself a home on an exclusive housing estate in Widnes. The truth was emerging. The income he was declaring to the taxman didn't match what he'd told the mortgage company. Webster and the team now have the bit between their teeth and believe they could be looking at a high-value mortgage fraud.
As a result of that, we carried on digging. We did a lot more work in relation to the properties which were attributable to him, and we found out there were a number of mortgage frauds.
But it wasn't just Shirley. There were others involved too. Over a 4-year period, Shirley and his accomplices had committed multiple mortgage frauds, declaring false levels of income to obtain mortgages on luxury properties across the Northwest. With the evidence stacking up, the team gain a warrant to search James Shirley's home. Later, what Webster and his team didn't know is that what they were about to discover would make this a landmark case in British legal history.
We realised that James Shirley had a car business and it was involved in what turned out to be nearly £1 million VAT fraud.
Investigators have a tough job, so if they could have any superpower to help, what would it be?
Well, I think in my job, I'd probably benefit from being able to turn back time and stop the offence from happening in the first place.
My superpower would be to read minds.
If I had a superpower to help me fight fraud, I think the ability to make someone tell the truth. Mind reading, because then you would know what the suspect was thinking, where the evidence was, and it would make your job a lot easier.
If I could have a superpower, it would be a simple one, really. It would be the ability to see thought bubbles above people's head, particularly in interviews, because you know people are lying to you, but you can't really get them to say that.
It would probably have to be to travel back in time to the point where the fraud was either conspired or committed. So I could just video it, and then that would just save us a lot of time having to gather the evidence in other ways and ultimately come to the same outcome anyway.
Well, I think I'd have to create my own superpower, new superpower, being omnipotent. So I would be all-seeing and all-knowing. I'd be invincible and immortal. I could predict the future and defy destiny. And I'd know what all the fraudsters were doing. So I think it would be quite a handy power to have.
Probably the ability to use Excel properly.
Most of us live within the law. We do our jobs and we pay our taxes, but not the fraudsters. They will do anything and everything in order to live the high life, but on someone else's money. In this case, fraud investigators uncover a shameless family at the head of a £400,000 tax and benefit fraud ring. The family run 2 businesses, but dodged tax and claimed they were unable to work.
This was a double hit on our public purse.
They splash the cash on exotic holidays, luxury watches and expensive jewellery.
These kind of flashy things, it's the kind of thing that their culture respects. To each other, they are kings and queens.
Rob Brooker is a titan within the world of fraud investigation. With over 30 years of experience within the private and public sector, no fraudster can hide from him. And to understand the fraudster's mindset is Dr. David Holmes, a criminal psychologist who's been getting into the minds of master criminals for over 3 decades. Toxteth, Liverpool. A husband and wife team run 2 successful businesses, a popular wine bar and a car repair garage.
By not registering the companies at HMRC or Companies House, they avoided paying tax and VAT, money that should be better used in the public purse.
However, the family clearly feel they're above the law, so they're not paying any VAT, national insurance or income tax.
I don't think these people are inherently evil. They're just feckless and following a kind of culture, a blagger culture, basically, of never really wanting to pay fully for anything, but they also want everything their hearts desire.
They were getting away with it until the tax authorities decide to take a closer look at the family's businesses.
They would have seen that these companies were not registered at Companies House, or in fact with themselves at HMRC. This is a huge red flag.
As investigators dig deeper into the family's booming businesses, there's another shocking revelation.
Not only were they not paying VAT or tax, they were also claiming to be unfit to work and claiming benefits.
A lot of fraud is passive. It's not declaring something, not actually doing something that you're supposed to do in order to be legitimate. In this particular case, this family, although they were engaging in some passive fraud, they were also engaging in active fraud, where you go out of your way. So making a benefit claim means that you're actually doing something you know is fraudulent, which is, I think, worse.
It appears the daughter is involved too. She allows her bank account to be used to hide £50,000 from her parents' criminal activities.
This is blatant money laundering. This is whereby your account is used to pay in money that's not genuine. So in this instance, the daughter was having her parents put money into her account to cover up the fact of where that money had come from.
She's also claiming benefits to cover her rent, but failed to declare a second property she owned and rented out.
Working as a family unit in this area of fraud, it's much easier to detect any kind of suspicions that people may have, what you got and why you've got it. And also, you've got tendrils out there that can actually put forward stories to cover up for each other. If it was one person on their own, they'd be constantly looking behind them. However, a family has eyes everywhere.
Over 7 years, the family have paid no tax whilst claiming income support and council tax benefit.
They actually don't ever think they're going to get caught. They think in some strange way they've got the divine right to do this. They're often under the actual suspicion that everyone else is doing it as well.
The police go to arrest the family. The father and his daughter are arrested in Liverpool. The wife is picked up at Manchester Airport after yet another luxury holiday to Las Vegas. As the family are taken to a police station, the family home is searched.
The investigators would have searched the property to find evidence to support the information they'd already been supplied with. In addition, they'd be looking for anything else that would add meat to the bone of this case.
In the search, police find £39,500 in cash, Rolex watches worth £15,000, and a number of gold sovereigns stashed in a bedroom.
As with many people in this kind of culture of, ongoing theft and fraud, they're kind of very distrustful of banks and places where we'd normally safely put our cash. They'd rather have cash under the bed or, gold ingots or anything whereby they've got their hands on it and nobody else can see it, particularly on paper.
The investigators take a closer look at the family's personal finances and are flabbergasted with what they find. They calculate that between 2009 and 2014, the garage alone turned over £1.7 million, making a profit of £321,000. No tax has been paid on this.
The HMRC investigators would now have interviewed all three members of the family to give them the opportunity to explain how they obtained cash and gold Rolex watches.
In total, the family evaded tax from their businesses to the tune of £278,000, while the couple receive £85,000 in various benefits they're not entitled to. After a short trial at Liverpool Crown Court, the father is jailed for 4 years after admitting 3 tax frauds and 6 benefit fraud offences. His wife is jailed for 3 years for the same offences. The daughter is convicted of money laundering and benefit fraud, but is spared from jail given a suspended sentence of 21 months. The husband and wife are ordered to repay over £350,000 within 3 months or face more time behind bars. Around a third of this will go back to the Department of Work and Pensions. That's over £100,000 that can now be given to those who truly need it. In North Wales, one of Britain's most extreme hoax callers has been caught in the act. A pizza delivery rider and part-time con artist has staged a 130-foot fall from Mount Snowdon, risking the lives of 20 mountain rescue volunteers.
This person was actually putting the mountain rescue team in grave danger.
And the price to the public purse for his pleasure ride to hospital alone is an eye-watering £32,000.
The amount of money was becoming phenomenal.
And it's all a sham. The pizza delivery rider has faked the entire accident, but PC Gethin Jones is onto him. The man is in hospital demanding drugs. He's completely unaware his act isn't fooling PC Gethin Jones, who receives intelligence that 3 days ago, the pizza delivery rider did exactly the same thing.
I was made aware by the inspector in the control room, a person with the same name that had actually made a similar report in Cumbria.
Gethin goes to arrest him.
I cautioned him that he was being arrested on suspicion of having wasted police time.
But as PC Jones stands guard, he's distracted by his radio.
I was hearing calls coming in left, right and centre, and we were having difficulty in resourcing officers.
Cuts to police budgets mean forces across the UK are overstretched, and sometimes tough decisions have to be made. PC Jones is ordered to leave the hospital for a more pressing emergency.
We decided that we would basically de-arrest the suspect at that time.
Having to release the hoaxer is an extremely bitter pill to swallow.
It was just very frustrating having to go and deal with other work.
Back at the station the following day, PC Jones continues to investigate this serial hoaxer. He contacts Cumbria Police and they alert him to more suspected hoax calls.
I was actually thinking, hang on, this just hasn't happened here, not just Cumbria, but it looks like it's happened in possibly 10 other locations. The Lake Districts, all the way up to Ben Nevis.
The scale is staggering, and PC Jones begins to calculate the true cost to the public purse.
Having considered that this one instance alone had cost £32,000, we had tens of these instances, £320,000. You got 20, that's £640,000. So if you put all the other costs into consideration, the police service, the MRT, Mountain Rescue Team, and every trust, every hospital involved with this, I would approximate the value to be possibly over £1 million.
Wasted public money that could have paid for 4 new, fully kitted out ambulances.
I'm thinking, this guy's got to be stopped.
And PC Jones finds more dirt on this pretender. The man has previously been caught impersonating a soldier and fraudulently collecting charity donations.
I actually found out that he had been subject of another investigation, and this false representation in terms of himself having worn a British Services uniform and carrying a charity box stating that he was collecting money. He was actually arrested for that offence.
Whatever motivates this reckless criminal to lie, risk lives and steal over £1 million of public money is a mystery. PC Jones isn't going to rest until the man is back in cuffs.
My next step was to obtain statements from other forces, mounted rescue teams, to prove the offence of being a public nuisance. I completed a file, then put this file to a police inspector, which became a UK-wide warrant for the arrest of this guy.
But then the hoaxer falls completely off the radar for 12 long months, and all PC Jones can do is watch and wait.
All of a sudden we get a report via Swansea Police, which is South Wales Police, detailing that he'd fallen off his bike and needed attention for apparent injuries. Police arrived there. He was aggressive with ambulance staff, and he was arrested.
He's up to his old tricks. Another fake accident. But this one will prove his undoing. He's placed under arrest. Finally, PC Jones has his man.
He was then conveyed to Carnarvon Police Station from South Wales, where he was later interviewed.
But even when this prolific hoax caller was presented with the entire file of evidence, he still refuses to accept any of it is true.
He surprisingly denied that he'd carried out any of these offences, and he also denied the selfie that he actually wanted to take on the helicopter.
He's charged with causing a public nuisance requiring mountain rescue, is subsequently tagged and placed on curfew. This public menace is then put before a judge. A day PC Jones isn't going to miss.
Obviously, having a massive interest in being the main investigator, I actually attended here on my day off to make sure that everything went as planned.
In an apparent change of heart, the hoaxer submits a guilty plea, and now it's time for sentencing. All of PC Jones's hard work was finally about to come to fruition. The judge sentences the hoaxer to 16 months and tells him he should be thoroughly ashamed.
He'd actually committed himself to waste hundreds of thousands of pounds of the public purse money. In the current climate, we simply can't afford to be throwing money away like that.
In Liverpool, an investigation is sparked following a routine stop and search, which reveals James Shirley is in possession of cannabis and £6,000 in cash. The subsequent investigation uncovers a dodgy bank account and a huge family mortgage fraud. Detective Superintendent John Webster is running the investigation and has a warrant to search Shirley's luxury home in Widnes. And what he finds takes the investigation in a whole new direction, leading to a landmark case in British legal history.
We took a box away full of documents and we started the painstaking work of sifting through them. We found a ledger, and that particular ledger was a bit of a eureka moment, really, because it documented a number of purchases and sales for high-end vehicles, Bentley, Porsches, Range Rovers and the like.
Curious to know what Shirley was doing with these high-end cars, the investigators dig deeper and find James Shirley is running a car sales business from his home address. Company bank accounts show unexplained transactions for thousands and thousands of pounds. Investigators can also see he's transferring large sums of money to 3 local pensioners. John Webster turns his attention to these individuals and notices they have one thing in common.
When we first looked at them, it transpired that they were buying many cars, in some cases, dozens and dozens of vehicles. The 3 individuals that were buying the cars were all registered as disabled and as such all had blue badges. Disabled people are quite legitimately allowed to purchase a vehicle which is exempt from VAT.
Over an 18-month period, Shirley transfers nearly £4 million into the 3 blue badge holders' accounts, who then buy luxury cars on his behalf without paying any value-added tax. Incredibly, one of the individuals buys a staggering 16 high-value cars in just 1 month. After buying the cars, Shirley sells them on for a profit, bagging himself thousands of pounds, which is paid directly into his bank account. And the number of cars involved in this scam is astounding.
Those individuals ended up buying 120 cars, some of which costing in excess of £120,000. Value-added tax, 20% on £120,000, is a lot of money.
This is public money that should be going into essential services. And that's not all. Most of the cars have previously undergone costly modifications.
For example, an accelerator pedal or brake pedal might have had a hand adaptation, which was put on specifically to allow a disabled person to be able to drive. Well, in these cases, bear in mind the cars were flipped and sold within 24 hours. It was quite obvious that they were literally driven off the forecourt and the adaptation was unscrewed and taken off and thrown away.
It's a shocking waste of taxpayers' money, paying for expensive attachments that will never be used by the genuinely disabled people who need them. And the scam isn't just limited to Liverpool. To avoid raising suspicion, cars are bought from as far afield as the Scottish borders, all the way down to Cornwall. Officers talk to over 100 garages nationwide and discover James Shirley is not working alone.
We found out that he had a criminal associate, Eric Scragg. Eric was probably best described as the fixer for James.
Scragg recruits blue badge holders through family and friends, then locates luxury cars around the country, arranging their purchase, adaptation and collection. In total, Shirley's scam ripped us all off of almost £1 million. That's enough money to pay for over 2,000 basic mobility scooters. And Shirley defrauds the public purse even further by not declaring or paying income tax on the profit he's making each time he sells a car. A trial like this has never been heard in the UK before, so the team have to be certain they have a cast iron case.
Financial investigation is and can be very, very complex indeed. To make sure that we were absolutely confident of our facts, we went to an independent forensic accountant and employed their services to go through all of our work and make sure that we were absolutely rock solid with our evidence.
After a 5-year-long investigation, John and his team are ready to take the case to Manchester Crown Court.
Well, these types of offences, unfortunately, can take an awful long time to investigate. And this particular operation, Operation Cobweb, and I suppose the clue's in the name there, it was a real web of deceit on behalf of James Shirley, and his associates, took a number of years to complete and present. In January 2018, we presented this to Manchester Crown Court, and a 6-month trial ensued.
The 3 blue badge cheating pensioners immediately plead guilty to their charges.
3 individuals who were clearly set about buying cars for James Shirley with the sole intention of lining their pockets and lining the pockets of James Shirley.
The others involved in the case are not so willing to accept that they have done anything wrong.
Everybody involved really tried to challenge all the evidence that Merseyside Police put forward, stating that all their businesses were legitimate, that all their dealings and all their financial transactions were legitimate, that their mortgages were legitimate.
And there were denials.
James' associate had over £2.5 million transferred into his personal bank account by James Shirley Cars, in order to facilitate the purchase of these vehicles. During the trial, James Shirley actually denied knowing him. Bizarre, considering he'd transferred £2.5 million to his bank account.
But the jury doesn't buy any of it, and on the 10th of September 2018, Shirley is convicted of 2 counts of mortgage fraud, conspiracy to evade VAT and money laundering. He's jailed for 6 years and 3 months. Another accomplice is convicted of mortgage fraud and money laundering and jailed for 3 years. 3 others received suspended sentences for their part in the mortgage fraud. Eric Scragg received a custodial sentence charged with conspiracy to evade VAT.
Through the Proceeds of Crime Act, all the property which is attributable to James Shirley and his friends is now actively being pursued in order to ensure that it's realised in the future and their value is returned back to the public purse. The victims in this case is actually the public. You often hear that fraud is a victimless crime. That's not the case at all. There was £900,000 worth of VAT which didn't manage to make its way into the public purse. That's £900,000 of money that could have been spent within the hospitals or the education system.
As a result of this landmark case, the HMRC have now put a stop to this type of scam, clamping down on fraudsters by dramatically changing their policy, only allowing blue badge holders to purchase 1 vehicle every 3 years.